the very first thing we are going to define the IAM user. For this, we will provide the actual credentials with the root user, and then you are supposed to create IAM users. So with the IAM users, I'm going to, in order to create IAM user, I'm going to search IAM in the services that is used for manage access to AWS resources for different resources. So for this, first I'm going to create user groups, and then if we don't have any group, as of now I don't have any group, I'm going to create the group. So this group I'm going to give the name new admin. So this is the name of my group admin, and I'm not going to I'm going to attach policy. So what I'm going to attach policy, that is the administrator. For this I'm going to create administrator. So if it is not there, then you can create group and go to the users. If we don't, as of now I don't have any users in my portal, so I'm going to add users. So inside the add users, I'm supposed to create the username. So let's say I'm giving the name Lambda user. So inside this lambda underscore user, and there are two kind of credentials type: access key, programmatic, where we need the AWS API and any programming handle, we can have the access key. And the second one is the password. We need to provide the password and all the console access and information credentials. So I'm going to click on both of these and click on the next permissions. And here I'm having new admin as a group. I'm going to attach this user to my group. Otherwise, you can create group from here also. So I'm going to attach this and next on the tag, and I'm going to create the next tag, and here I'm going to click next review also. Here you have IAM user and I'm all. Now we have created users. So this will provide the credentials. You just save this download file, download CSV file, and see all these secret key, password, email, and all these are given here. And this is the console link. So I can have download CSV because this file will not show. I can open this file if it is having the particular essential. Yes, it is consisting the access link. You can see the username is here. You can see password name is here. You can see access key is also here. You can see secret access key and the console login link from where we can log in our portal. I'm going to save this file and then use for further purpose. As of now, I have going to use this file. Now I'm going to sign out from this place and use the given credentials. And this is the link. I'm going to copy this link and going to the copy V and hit enter. Now you have IAM user credentials. So this is account ID by default. You don't need to provide the any uh, ID or account alias here. By default, this link will provide this account ID. Now it is asking for the IAM username. You can see the username is here. I'm going to copy here and paste it inside the IAM user name. Then it is asking for the password. So I'm going to copy the password. Let's see, and paste it here inside the password and going to click username. So this is asking old password, so I'm going to paste that password. Yes, it is having password in my compiler, and new password I'm going to assign as per your choice. You can give the password I have given a password as per my choice. Now my password has been changed. You can save for further purpose. So as convenient as possible, you can create your IAM user, and now you not in the console panel or the main user panel. Now you are inside the IAM user. So introduce new widget application and all. Ignore all these options and just keep going on. Now for the Lambda function, we are going to click on the console home and click on the Lambda. So here we are having Lambda function, and we are, because entry policy allow Lambda, going to use Lambda and click here Lambda. So now you can have that we don't have any policy, you can ignore. Now you can, as of now we don't have any options, any data set here, because none function has been created. Now click on the function, create function, and then you can have three options here. The author from scratch, use a blueprint, and container image. So here you can give your function name, like what is the function name. I am giving my first function as the my lambda function, and here I'm going to choose node 18x or node 10x, or whatever node we are choosing. You can choose another node also. So I'm choosing node jx 12.x, right? And then with the certain permissions you can give, like create a new role with basic lambda. You can create your own, you can use existing role for this function. You can create new role with from AWS policy templates. But as of now, we are creating this function with new role with basic lambda permissions. And you can have advanced setting, but that is not required as of now. We are going to create this function. Now we have designed the templates where we can delete everything, and it is showing because no lambda function create a role action. So we can have go to the lambda functions, go to the IAM role, and then can have the particular impressions and particular role permissions. So I had created the new role, and inside the new role, I just added the, the the administrator role. I forgot to add the policy administrator role. So kindly add the administrator role in your IAM policy. Then create your IAM role. So here I am having lambda function which I have created from scratch and given the name as a my first function, and keep the runtime node.js 12.x, and inside here you can see no destination, no add trigger. So I'm having this function and this handler.sqs, I'm having that code. I'm going to delete all these values, and here I'm having the first function, and that is the particular name. I'm going to create this as a console dot log. Inside this log I'm going to create one event here, and inside this event I'm going to create one more rule. So that is the console dot log, and then I'm going to print hello lambda, and then I'm going to click on the test role. So uploaded form, so I'm going to deploy and change not done, right? So then I can go to the save button from here if I'm having another option. So I'm having that test, save, and then test. So going to save. So I'm going to create new event. So this event name I'm going to create giving that test name event, test event. and this event I'm going to create now, and this is the private, and here this is the hello world template, and here I'm going to pass all these values, JSON files, key 1, value 1, and this data point will be passed to my function, to my triggered. So I'm going to save these value and going to test event, and you can see I'm going to test, and you can see I'm having this test event, right? So I'm going to test this format and click on test. So this is, I'm going to execution result. So this is successfully run. I'm going to test. You can see success code 200. Hello, this is body printing hello from Lambda, and what I have passed in here, that will be shown here, like with the duration it takes 4.76 millisecond initially, and 5 millisecond, and resource configure 128, and maximum memory it can take 55 memory. And here I'm having this duration and all these. If you can see the event JSON file here, you can see the format JSON file, and we can have the test. So here in this way you can see the test function and test the particular value and particular first function inside the Lambda. Next thing we are going to trigger here our first API. So here we have add trigger option. I'll click on the add trigger, and inside the add trigger I'll search for the API gateway. So here it is API gateway, which is application services AWS serverless. So there are more applications and more create more interesting operations like your web app, your website applications, your IoT informations, everything will be uploaded here. So I'm going to create a new API, and here we have new API HTTP, and I'm keeping HTTP AI which is used to low latency and cost effective REST API with built-in features such as OC and authorized native course support. So I'm not using this REST API. So as far as security is concerned, we are having three options like create JW2 authorizer or open. So I'm keeping no security in my API endpoint. So I'm keeping open as of now. You can have additional settings like for your first application API and defend. If you want to change the API name and deployment stage, so you can do that. So further to our conversation, we can have add more attributes along with this. Now I'm going to add here. So if you look at as conveniently as possible, you can have the trigger. You can see the following details are there: API endpoint, which is very much important, where we can have so many S3 buckets, dynamic stream, and your credentials and everything will be there. When you will click over there, you will have entire information. Hello world Lambda. It will be shown up here. And I'll click API type, that is the HTTP, and authorization I have given none. For course this is no, and details matrix no, method any, and resource path my first. Entire triggers details are showing here. When you will come back to the code, you will see the entire code is also written here, and it is also showing here. Now you can see your first function is now attached with API gateway. Previously it was showing only a add trigger option, but now we have added API gateway here. So this is the option. You can test again test this module, and you can monitor, and everything will be shown over here. Now we are going to change the little bit in the inside the parameter. I'm going to click on the my parameters inside the layers. We have this code and we have this file. So we have this code also. So this code is like, I'm going to text. So this is the original code. I'm going to change little bit here. So exports.handler is equal to asynchronous events, and then I'm having the next label. I'm going to delete this code, and this time I'm going to keep const with response. With the response, I want to keep the response is equal to whatever the response I want to keep it. I'm going to keep it here inside the response. I'm going to keep status. For a notable boost, I'm going to keep the status with status code TATUS. It is status code 200 and then comma, and with the body I'm going to keep JSON, and with the JSON I'm going to pass the string5, and with string5 I'm going to show hello Christy code. So after this I'm going to close this response and consider the issue as serious. You can find a solution at the earliest by passing the response API by returning the particular response. So I'm using here response. I'm going to return the response and going to test this one. So this is having this pass, and going to click API gateway and going to click this runway. Can you see hello from world? So I'm going to come back the code again, come back to node.js. So I'm going to test event. I'm going to click deploy and updating the function. You can see successfully updated my function, and going back to API gateway and click on the endpoint function. You can see now message has been changed. Hello Christy code. So previously it was showing hello from Lambda previous function, but now it's showing hello Christy code. So this was the API change. You can show the API change. One more thing, if you want to change pass any function, like suppose I am adding this variable, this is the let's say any name, let's say Sachin. So I'm doing this one and happening nothing because it is not recognizing that any string or any name is passed to this API gateway. So I'm doing the code for the same. Now we want to pass some parameter here, like my first function name Sachin, hello Sachin. So for this we will come back to the code, and inside the node index.node.js we will add some values here. So we have export constant figure and constant. Inside this constant asynchronous value we need to add some values. So what we are going to add, we are going to add constant name, and inside this name I'm going to add one event. So that event is called event dot query string. So this is query string parameters. So inside these parameters I'm going to create one more thing, that is also I want to add this thing. This is called event dot query string parameters. You can see query string parameters here. So make sure we have correct spelling here. Query strings parameters, and query string parameters are also having this semicolon. So and let message be, we have something logical. The message is, let's say this is having hello, any name, you can have any name over here. So I'm going to So I'm going to have that hello message name, and inside this hello message name, I'm going to put some condition. If my name is not null, so this name is not equal to null, null, and inside this null we have some particular value, and then this is having first condition. And now if we here we have another function name, that is the message, and this message I need to change with my hello name. So I'm going to create hello, and with this hello I want to keep the name of this value. So this is hello, and I'm going to create this hello, and inside this hello I'm going to put that name variable. So this should update the message function. So if this is not null, then this name should be pop up over here, and instead of this hello stringify, the I'm going to pass this message parameters, and I'm going to deploy over here. First copy all these functions, all this code, so that we don't need to write it again. So I'm going to deploy it over here, and then this is going to update your function. You can see successfully updated the function. I'm going to the API gateway again. Here I'm having my gateway, and you can see this is showing this name. So I'm going to create hello, and then let's say function, let's say I'm going to create name equal to, let's say I'm having Sachin. So it's not showing because some error is there in my code. So I'm going back to the code, going to index, and here I'm going to put this index value here and erase this index value here. I'm going to deploy again. If some hello function will have the error, I'll make the changes and going to the test again. So you can see my function name is having some name. I can check that function again, this hello name. So we are having not the colon here, and then with this name I'm going to create that hello message name. So this name I'm going to create this value, and I'm going to deploy it over here. This function is not having any error, so it will have that gateway, API gateway. So I can check the code also. I'm going to the test this. I'm going to the API gateway again. If it is showing any error, yes, it is showing internal server error. So that might be code error in my code. Inside the given file, we have the endpoints and the code over here. Inside this code, if you will go to index.json, you will see the message is now hello Sudha, any name, and message is hello name, and you can have the deploy message. You can save from this one, and you can deploy for the same, and you can test for the API gateway. So if you click on the API gateway, then here we have endpoint, and you can see this message is showing here. You want to put the message like what is the API name dot Sachin, you can do and so on. So it will show hello Sachin also. This is how we can work with the Lambda gateway API first session and different values.